So good morning. We're going to start seated. If you need anything close by, um, like things to sit on, cushions, blankets. Oh, you've got your blocks still. Great. That's good to know. Oh, you've got your strap, towels, blankets. Instead of a strap, you can always use a tie or a belt or a tea towel. Instead of blocks, you can have books, but Michelle's got her blocks, or cans or toilet paper rolls. We can get creative. Awesome. Oh, you've got lots of things here. All right, we're gonna start seated today. So take a nice tall seat. And you can shift around a little. You can come right and left and forward and back, just to find that nice tall spine. We close our eyes and we drop into awareness. So just a reminder to meet your body where it's at, to move with your body and not against it. That's kind of part of my theme for this week too. My theme is patience. So we're exploring what it feels like to bring in patience. And what I'm finding is it takes a little bit of compassion, a little bit of letting go. Last class, I kind of brought to mind this imagery of patience being like laying back on a floaty in the river and just seeing what happens instead of struggling and getting worked up and fighting against the current. Because sometimes that's what impatience feels like. So we bring compassion to our bodies, we listen, we allow things to open a little more gently. At the same time, that doesn't mean we stop working, we stop challenging ourselves. But maybe we do it with awareness. Feel when inside the body it comes up as resistance that is non-productive versus some of that resistance that's just patterned. It's difficult to distinguish sometimes, but that's what we're going to tap into today. So as we sit here, we start to come to our breath. And just start to watch it. The inhale, the exhale. Stepping away from trying to control it. Watching how the breath breathes itself. And the more attention we give it, the deeper it gets. The slower, the smoother. Our breath is a great communicator too. Our heart rate, muscle tension. We can watch it for clues on how our body is feeling, how it's reacting to what we're doing. Patience is stepping back and listening to that and noticing if we start to fight against it, if we start to get riled up, if we start to try to control. So today we'll practice that on the mat so that when we're driving in traffic later or whatever might happen, we can also practice it off the mat. Let's take 3 big deep breaths. Inhale, fill up the whole body. And let it go. And again. And release. And last time. Let go of anything dancing on your mind. Prepare to move. Slowly open your eyes. Let's reach our arms up overhead. And exhale back to center. Again, taking up lots of space and then bringing the hands down the center line towards the heart. Last one. Stretch it out. Feel the shoulders start to wake up. And then hands back to the center. You can give a bow. And start to, and maybe set your own intention for today's practice. Interlace the fingers in front of the heart. And let's press the palms out in front of us, curling the back. Getting a nice roundness in the spine on the exhale. Next inhale, draw those arms up. Open the front of the body. Exhale, curl. Just slowly starting to get into the spine, into the ribs, into the chest, into the shoulders, even into the hips. Coming to your own flow. Beautiful. And one more cycle of breath. And all the way up. Nice. Let those shoulders drop down the back. Release the fingers and come into a big Y position here. Feel the uplifting nature of this. Imagine roots from the sit bones down into the earth. And then we can connect to the string at the top of the head, drawing the spine long, natural. We can connect to the strength that is required to keep our arms up here. And then the openness through the chest. Beautiful. We slowly start to bring them down to about 90 degrees so that they're parallel to the earth. And hold them here. Feel how we're both stretching out through the fingertips, but also the muscles around that shoulder are drawing the arms back into the center line of the body. There's always these two actions happening as we stretch out into the world, and then we keep integrated into our center core at the same time. Beautiful. We're going to start to do little circles just for a change here. Palms up. Little circles in one direction. So as our muscles start to get a little fatigued, we come back to the breath. Let's start to make bigger circles. And then we notice what happens in our mind and our body as the muscles start to get more fatigued. Let's go a little bit bigger. And then even bigger. Just exploring the range of motion in the shoulders. And one more in this direction, and keeping those circles big, we're going to go in the other direction. And notice the difference here. Continue to try to keep your neck long. Keep that area between the ears and the shoulders open. And then we start to make smaller circles. Feeling those shoulders working. And then even smaller. Nice. Staying with the breath. Staying with the heat that's building. Smaller. And then the smallest circles again. And then resisting the urge to just let those arms drop. We're going to slow down until the arms are just reaching out at the sides again. For 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, let them float all the way down behind you to the fingertips. And just lean back a little bit. Lifting that heart to the sky. Beautiful. Walk the right arm out to the right. Reach the left arm up and over. Get into the side body. You can take that left hand, bring it behind the back of the head, and then let that elbow just drop down. Let the shoulder come onto the back, and then start to open up to the sky. Elbow up towards the clouds. Support the head and the neck with the hand. And then come all the way up. Left arm comes down, right arm comes up and over. Get that nice long side body stretch. And then notice here, sometimes the neck and the head feel awkward. So we're going to reset by bringing the right hand behind the back of the head. Let that elbow drop, let the shoulder blade come onto the back, and then start to open that elbow, open the chest up, open the gaze up to the sky. Beautiful, and all the way back. And now let's just walk the hands out in front and bow. Maybe coming onto a block, coming onto elbows, letting the head and neck go. And we'll slowly roll onto hands and knees. Move any props out of the way and come to hands and knees on the mat. Hands are set under the shoulders, knees are set under the hips. Every single finger is pressing into the earth, every single knuckle. And we're going to do our cats and cows. So on your own breath, every inhale, we open the front body, and every exhale, we open the back body. As we start the practice, we're starting to awaken all these joints, all this connective tissue, all these muscles that may not have been in use through the morning or maybe selectively. So use this as an exploration, getting into every single part that needs some attention. You can bring the hips side to side or in circles if that calls to you. But follow your breath. Beautiful. And then slowly start to make your way back to neutral, and we'll come to our shoulder flow. So on the exhale, we're going to bring the hips back towards the heels. And on the inhale, we drag our nose along the mat, elbows up to the side, hips high, press back up to hands and knees. Let's keep going for 4 more. Let those arm bones nestle into the shoulder socket. Wake up all 360 degrees of that shoulder joint. We're getting into the spine, we're getting into the heart center. Stretching that chest on the way up, stretching that low back on the way back. 1 more time. Beautiful. All right, already feeling good. Coming down onto the elbows, walking the knees back behind us. We come into our first forearm plank. Maybe the knees are on the ground, maybe you curl the toes under and take the knees off the ground. Gaze right between the wrists. Keep the head and neck neutral and long and soft. Draw the thighs on the thigh bones and relax the heart. And then from here, we're going to come into a little bit of twisting. So just dipping the hips to the right and dipping them to the left. And get a little bit of that twisting action. It should feel awakening for the hips, for the spine, and obviously still for the core. Coming back and forth. Just for 4 more. For 3 more, for 2 more, and 1. Beautiful. And now bring those knees back onto the earth. Set the hands under the shoulders, curl the toes under, come into your first downward facing dog. You can start to pedal it out a little bit. Nice. So from this down dog, we want to get a little bit more into the hips, the hamstrings, the shoulders, even the calves. We're going to warm it up by inhaling, coming forward into a straight arm plank, and exhaling, drawing those hips back. Each time, see if you can draw those hips back a little bit more, but move slow and smooth. Inhale forward, exhale, hips come back. We feel the bigger joints start to wake up in the hips, through the shoulders more. 1 more time, inhale forward and exhale back. Beautiful. Start to walk the feet up towards the hands and come to a forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to here. Let the head and the neck just drop. Shake the head no, nod it yes. And then plant those feet down and come all the way up to standing. Beautiful. Come to the front of your mat. Set those feet nice and firm into the earth. Spread the toes. Feel the life coming up through the floor. Inhale, reach the arms up. We're back in the same position that we started in, seated, but we're going to root down through the feet this time. Feel those roots planted deep into the earth, and then feel that string at the top of the head. Feel those arms stretching away while keeping integrated into the middle center of the body. And exhale, fold forward. 2 more times. Inhale, come all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, dive forward, Uttanasana. 1 more. Come all the way up. And exhale, forward fold. Hands come to shins or thighs. We look up halfway, lengthen on the inhale, and exhale, fold. 2 more of those. Press yourself forward. Look up, lengthen the spine, exhale, release down. 1 more. pumping into those hamstrings, getting into that spine. And now fingertips on the earth, step the right leg back behind you to start. We're going to bring that right knee down to the earth. If you need padding under it, go for it. And then we're going to come into the hamstring, the left hamstring a little bit. So as we inhale, we're going to come back, picking the left toes up off the ground, hips shifting back above that back knee. And as we exhale, we'll come forward. Now, if the floor feels too far away, you use your blocks or your props to hold on to. And just follow the breath here. Inhale, coming back. And exhale forward. Maybe you start to see that you can activate a little bit more. Each time come forward, the hips sink deeper. Each time we come back, maybe we can pull that left hip back more. One more time. Now hold it here in this hamstring stretch or this half splits pose, Ardha Hanuman. And we're going to take both hands on the outside edge of that left leg. Pull the left hip back in line with the right. Maybe you even walk the fingertips towards the upper left corner of the mat. It'll intensify the stretch quite a bit. But we really want to get all aspects of that hip and hamstring. And then back to center. Now, this is a little tricky. We're going to swing the right leg so that the lower leg is parallel to the short edge of the mat and come to face the side. So we're on our knee and our left foot, and we come up into a gate pose. We bring that left arm down the left leg and come up and over with the right arm. Some variation today. And now inhale, come all the way back. Plant that right hand on the earth. Come into a modified side plank. So our right knee is supporting us. Our left leg is still pressing out through the outer edge of that left foot, and we reach up with the left arm. And now for a little bit of activation, walk the right hand further forward and come up off that left leg. So we're balancing on our right knee and our right arm. Beautiful. You might even reach the left arm over the ear for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Come back to gate pose. Turn to face the front of the mat and back into a plank. Nice. So your plank can be on hands and feet. It can be on elbows and knees or anything in between. We're hugging into the midline. We slow the breath. When things get uncertain, when things get unpredictable, that's also when impatience can arrive. Can we go with the flow? How long do we have to hold this plank? For 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and 1. Drop the knees down, bend the elbows behind you, and come all the way down to the abdomen. Keep the hands either underneath the shoulders or slightly behind the shoulders by the ribs. Draw those elbows in towards your body. Roll the shoulders on the back. 4 times we inhale into a baby cobra, just pressing slightly into the hands, and exhale, come down. Keep the thighs grounded. Inhale up and down. Keep the tops of the feet grounded. Inhale up. Exhale down. And last time, we're going to hold it up there. Keep the shoulders on the back. Keep the neck and head neutral and long. Keep those elbows pointing back behind you. Every finger, every knuckle is still in contact, pressing into the earth. And there's no compression in any one area of the spine. It feels long, strong, and all the way down. Beautiful. Come into your down dog, or also an option, puppy pose or child's pose. Nice work. So we're going to do that new strange flow on the right side. So the right foot is going to step between the hands, however it gets there. I'm just going to face this way. And then that left knee comes down onto the earth or onto a cushion or a foam block, or you can double fold your mat with the hands on your props or on the floor. As we inhale, we're going to shift those hips back, pick up those right toes, come into our hamstring stretch, and exhale, flow forward. So lots of movement here kind of helps to wake up those tight places. And as we continue to breathe and move and be patient with our bodies, things start to open up. We can bring the hips a little deeper in the lunge. We can draw that hip further back and extend that leg in the hamstring stretch. We'll do that 2 more times. Last time, we hold here in Ardha Hanuman, half splits pose. We draw that right hip back. We get the body nice and long, and then both hands will come to the outer edge of that right leg. We can already feel a little bit of a difference here, a little more in that outer hip. Maybe we can start to walk the hands up towards the upper right-hand corner of the mat as we fold over that leg. And then come back to center, bend through that right knee. We swing the left leg behind us and come up into gate pose on the right side here. So the right edge of the foot, outer edge of the foot, is parallel to the short edge of the mat. And we start to reach that right hand down the right leg and up and over with the left arm. Feeling open through that left side. And then come all the way up. Place the left hand on the earth underneath your shoulder. Reach up with the right. Continue to press through the knife edge of that right foot and come into this modified side plank. And now walk the left hand a little further forward so you can shift onto that left knee and pick the right leg up off the floor. Some muscle needed here. And maybe that left arm can reach over the ear, right arm. For 2, 1. And then spin back down so that the hands come planted under the shoulders. Come into a downward facing dog. And then we can step the right leg forward, the left leg forward, and forward fold. Bend the knees nice and deep for our first chair pose. Make sure the feet are parallel, lots of weight in the heels, and we bring the hands to the heart. Beautiful. Now, arms come out in front like we're accepting a gift again. We hug those shoulders on the back and get a little bit deeper. Keep the neck long, keep the collarbones wide, keep that core working and come a little deeper. And 1 more inch, little deeper. Now let's inhale all the way up and exhale, fold forward. Look up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fingertips to the earth. Step the left leg back behind you. And this time we're going to stay in a lunge position here. Always an option to bring the back knee to the earth if you need to. And again, if the floor feels far away, that's what our props are here for. They can help to bring the floor closer so that we can get more extension through the spine, more power through that back leg. Press the back heel back, scissor the legs towards each other, and keep bending through that right knee. So we're in this runner's lunge here. Beautiful. Now, if you want to take it a little deeper, we start to press ourselves up. And notice what that does in the body. We get more of a stretch in that left hip flexor. Notice how that right hip wants to roll forward. Keep drawing it back. Maybe the hands come to the heart. Maybe they reach up to the sky. Maybe you take the left wrist with the right hand and slightly tip over towards the right. Beautiful. Come back to center, hands down. And then we move our props out of the way and come into a plank pose. Come all the way down, either on your knees or straight down through plank. Flip the feet over. We're going to do that cobra flow one more time. This time, if you want to come a little higher, it's great, as long as the collarbones can stay wide and the back doesn't feel squished. As we inhale, we press up. As we exhale, we come down. Keep the thighs grounded. Inhale up and exhale down. Keep the tops of the feet grounded. Inhale up. Keep the face soft and down. And last one, let's come all the way up and hold. Feeling the heart bursting forward, the arms working hard, the roots in the tops of the feet, the tops of the thighs, and then all the way down, recovery pose, downward dog, puppy or child's. Beautiful work. Nice job. So we're going to bring that left foot between the hands and come into our runner's lunge again. We'll go through the same steps to make sure that our runner's lunge is strong. Pull that left hip back. Strengthen up that back leg. Bend through the left knee. Feel some length through the upper body, from the hips all the way out through the head. And then from that strength, perhaps we can press ourselves up. Now feel the difference. Keep pulling that left hip back and strengthening that back leg. Perhaps the hands come to the heart and maybe up to the sky. If you want to go deeper, you take the right wrist with the left hand and lean over to the left. Lots of side body stretching today. And then release the hands back down. Step forward to the front of the mat. And release. Beautiful. Bend the knees nice and deep. And hands to heart. Come up into your chair pose. Maybe this time the arms come out front. Maybe keeping the distance between the ears and the shoulders, you come up into a full chair. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, we fold again. Oh, good, you're back. Let's take a little interlude in a forward fold here. Bend the knees nice and deep. Hug your thighs, release your head and neck. And then slowly you start to press into your feet and tip the sit bones up to the sky. Just letting everything drop. Another variation, you could stay here or take the big toes with your peace fingers. And then as we inhale, we press into the toes, lengthen the body. And as we exhale, we use the arms to draw the top of the head down towards the earth. Knees can be bent as much as they're needed. And we slowly start to draw up through the sit bones, activate the thighs to straighten the legs. And then release that forward fold, hands to shins or thighs, look up halfway, lengthen the body. And exhale, fingertips to the earth, and step that right leg back behind you. Again, if you need some props, grab them. We're going to come into that runner's lunge again. Strengthen that back leg, pull the left hip back behind you so that it's in line with the right hip. Get long through the body. This time, we keep the body where it is, nice long line from head to heel, and we bring the arms back behind us, like we're flying here. Roll the shoulders behind you. And now draw the arms up in front, like you're ready to fly, ready to launch off. We call this ready pose. Press out through that back heel and feel that line of energy from the heel all the way up the fingertips now. And now we are going to launch forward. You may need your blocks or your props for this. You bring the hands a few inches above that front foot, and we start to launch off onto that left leg as the right leg comes up, 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 up to the sky. Maybe you can fold deeper over that left leg and draw the heel higher. Press out through the right toes, the right heel, and then reach it back behind you. Beautiful. And step back to a plank. All the vinyasas, all the flows from here on in are optional. You can meet in down dog or your recovery pose, or you can come down to the earth. Do one nice heart opener in cobra or baby cobra, and then meet all back in recovery. So child's, puppy, or downward dog. Right leg steps between the hands. We come on to our props and set that strong runner's lunge. So I pull the right hip back, I strengthen that left leg, I bend through the right knee, and then I make the body long. All four corners of the front foot are planted. My heel is pressing back of the back leg, and then the arms come up off the floor. They reach back behind like wings. I feel the strength keeping me here. The strength of my legs, the grounding is allowing my body to be longer, allowing me to tap into my core. When I've got that, arms come out in front, and I'm ready to launch forward using the floor and my fingertips, or my props. I do launch forward onto that right leg, reaching the left leg up, up, up to the sky. I bow over my right leg as I press out through the left heel and reach it higher. Beautiful. Now replace that left foot beside the right foot and fold. Beautiful work. Bend the knees deep. Our last set of chair pose. Hands at the heart, hands out front, or arms reaching up. Beautiful. Yeah. Make sure you're breathing space between your neck and shoulders. And inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands at the heart. Pause here. Feel the change through the body. We'll make our way into a little bit more into the hips before we come down to the earth. Step out along your mat and spin the right toes to point towards the short edge of the mat and slightly out with that left heel in a heel to arch or heel to heel stance. Hands on the hips, we start to bend the right knee into a warrior two leg position, adjusting as needed. And now we're going to lean forward towards the upper left corner of the mat, sticking the buttocks out behind us, and then bringing the hands to the inner edge of that right foot. So it's a supported humble warrior. You can start to walk the fingertips further away from you as you dive here. Feel all four corners of both feet grounded. Strengthen that back leg as the anchor of your pose. Bend through the right knee a little more. And then walk back in towards that right leg. Bring the right elbow onto the right thigh and open up into a side angle pose. Check to make sure that right knee is still pressing towards the right. And then strengthen up that back leg again so that you can get more length in both sides of the waist. Top arm can come straight up to the sky or over the ear. Beautiful. And now come all the way up into warrior two. And let's hold here for 3 long breaths. Just enjoying the openness of the hips in this pose, the strength of the legs, and the length of the upper body. Beautiful. Straighten both legs. And let's switch sides. So we turn the right toes in, we turn the left toes out. We bend through that left knee into warrior two type legs. And then we start to lean the body up towards the upper right hand corner of the mat. Bring the hands down to the earth. Stick the buttocks out behind you and maybe start to walk the fingertips away from you as you dive. Strengthen that back leg. Bend the front knee. And then we walk back in towards center. Bring the left elbow on the left thigh and open up into side angle pose. Bringing those hips further down and then deciding arm straight up or arm over the ear. Check to make sure that left knee is still pressing towards the left. Both shoulders on the back, both sides of the waist long. Beautiful, yeah. And now come all the way up into our warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Keep bending that left knee. I know it wants to straighten. Gaze over the front hand and enjoy the pose for 3 long breaths. Bend a little deeper in that left knee. Strengthen up that back leg. Reach out through those fingertips. And now straighten both legs. Beautiful. Turn the feet so that they're parallel. Let's clear it out with a forward fold. Get nice and long through the upper body. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Fingertips come below the shoulders or even onto props. We pause for a moment. We widen the sit bones behind us. We bring a little bit more weight into the fronts of the feet, and then maybe we can fold deeper. Let the whole torso, upper body fold towards the earth, hang down. Beautiful. Let's come up to 90 degrees again. Place the left hand under the face, right hand on the sacrum, on the low back, and twist to the right. Maybe you reach that right arm up to the sky. Keep that left hip coming forward. It wants, or coming back. It wants to roll forward. Keep it in line with the right. And then back to center, right hand under the face, left hand on the sacrum. We twist to the left. Maybe reach that left arm up. Keep that right hip pinned back. And then back to center. Shimmy the legs towards each other until they're about a little bit wider than hip distance. And start to bend the knees towards the toes. So you're coming down kind of like a frog. You could stay here in this supported squat. You could have a block to catch you as you come down into a full squat malasana, or no block at all as you let those sit bones sink down. Just make sure the knees are pointed in the same direction as the toes, and you're rolling the shoulders on the back, widening the collarbones. Beautiful, nice. Close your eyes and feel that for 3, 2, 1. And then you can bring the hands behind you, bring the legs towards each other, and make your way to seated. Shake out the legs once you get there. Nice. We'll bend the right knee, take the right foot to the inner left thigh, and come into a forward fold Janu Shirshasana here. Spin the belly button towards that left leg, and then start to walk yourself down that leg. If you have a belt and you like to use it for forward folds, it's a nice way to connect to that length through the spine, shoulders on the back, and that fold right at that hip, as opposed to forcing ourselves to grab the toes. Follow the breath and let it flow. Come all the way up. Beautiful. Straighten the right leg, bring the left foot to the inner right thigh. Spin the belly button towards that right leg. And either with a belt or without, we get the body nice and long, and then fold right at that hip crease. We feel the anchoring that's happening at that left hip, so that we're stretching up and out of that base. Keep pressing out through the right heel so that you feel the back of that right leg. All of the connective tissue, making space, reprogramming. And all the way back up. Bring the feet to the floor, knees bent. Bring the feet together and then let the knees come apart into Baddha Konasana. If it feels like you're rolling off the sit bones, just move the heels away from you a little bit so that you can plug those sit bones right into the earth like an electrical socket. Hold on to the ankles, get tall through the spine, and then again, maybe you can fold forward. Release the head and the neck, and let gravity draw those knees apart and down towards the earth. Inhale all the way up. Draw those knees together. Bring the feet hip distance. Lean back onto the hands and then let those knees windshield wiper right and left. Beautiful. We're going to come down onto our backs for our hips. So coming onto your mat. Knees bent, slowly make your way down, down, down towards the earth. Once you get there, take a moment to reset. Let the pelvis settle into the earth. Let the back body get used to this new positioning. And then we're going to cross the left ankle on top of that right thigh in a number 4 position. You can stay here just pressing that left knee away and evening out the hips on the earth. If you need a little more, you can start to draw that right leg towards you. But keep consciously trying to ground that triangular sacrum onto the earth. So that fusion of bones at the bottom of the spine there, we're trying to keep that grounded so that we're really isolating the stretch in the hips here. Yes, of course, it's good to stretch the low back once in a while, but most low back pain is really originating from the tightness of the hips, the lack of mobility there, of the hamstrings. And now bring that right foot back down to the earth. Keeping the legs exactly as is, shift the hips over to the left slightly, and then let both legs tip over to the right. So for me, that left foot can come straight to the earth, and then I can even slightly press that left knee away, like I'm still in number 4 pose, really getting some length and space through that left hip, that left waist, the left sacroiliac. And then back to center. We uncross the legs, cross the right ankle over the left thigh, open that right knee to the right, and then find some evenness in the pelvis on the floor here as much as you can. If you want to go further, you can start to draw that left thigh towards you while keeping that right knee reaching to the right. And we still consciously try to ground the sacrum, really isolating that stretch through the hips. We release that left foot to the earth, shift the hips slightly to the right this time, and let both legs drop as is over to the left. And again, if that right foot can come to the earth, we can coax that right knee away with the left hand and get some extra length through that outer hip, the waist. And back up to center. Release the cross of the legs. And this time you can hug the knees in towards you. Bring the arms to the side. Let the knees fall to the right. Look over the left shoulder. You get to decide how close those knees are in or how far away, depending on where in your hips or lower back you need the twist. If they're closer in, the twist comes up towards the lumbar spine. If they're further away, we feel it a little bit more in the hips and the IT band. Come all the way back up and go over to the left, gazing over the right shoulder. Beautiful. And then back to center. If there's anything else that needs to move through your body for Shavasana, before Shavasana, let it go through. Do whatever your body's asking for. Maybe it's another hug, maybe a happy baby, maybe even another kind of twist. And then when you're ready, find your Shavasana. So it might be on your back, palms up, receptive. Might be on your side or legs up the wall or legs up the couch. Might even be in a seated meditative pose. Wherever you are, come back to the breath. When we're in a state of patience, we can feel that openness, that compassion, the letting go, and most importantly, that state of receptivity, ready to receive. In impatience, we tend to get closed off, disconnected, not only from the world around us and other people, but ourselves as well. And whatever gifts we have to receive from ourselves, whatever superpowers we have, but also whatever gifts the universe has for us. As you lay here in absolute presence, keep bringing yourself back to the breath. Back to what's happening right here, right now. You can stay here as long as you need to. You can slowly make your way back up to seated. Always make sure you thank yourself for your practice. Thank yourself for carving out the time and being patient. And I thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.